What's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, the coach of your Maine Red Clawitzers, and I am here bringing you guys the draft analysis for season number 6 of the Major Pokemon League. We are back with some more draft league content, and for the most part, this draft is going to be sort of unique in a sense, mainly because of the fact that the monster that I drafted, for the most part, is kind of similar in a sense, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I get to them. When you see my team, you'll pretty much understand the gist behind a certain person it being based upon. So, as for the draft analysis, how the draft worked, pretty much worked the same way as the MPL Minors, in which you draft between 9 and 11 Pokemon worth 120 points, no more than that, and then you pick Z-Mons, which is pretty much within a budget of 25 points, and then from there you just pick 25 points to pick the rest of your Z-Mons. So, as you'll see by my team, you'll notice some very similarities with a certain someone's team in another league, and I pretty much joked with the idea because I was like, I started off the second pick in the draft, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to emulate that team as best as I could, and you'll tell by the first Pokemon I picked that it's probably sort of straightforward whose team I pretty much molded this team around. Another thing to note is that my team ended up being the minimum of 9 Pokemon. Didn't want to try to stretch the issue any further. I could change it with free agents, pickups and whatnot, but I do like my team as a whole, not gonna lie. So, with that all being said, first and foremost, before I jump into the draft, I do want to give a quick shout out to one of the MPL coaches in Deebz, who made these the layout for the thumbnails, the slides that you see on your screen. So thank you, Deebz. And with that being said, let's jump right into the draft analysis. So with my first round pick, number 2 overall, we picked up none other than Celesteela again. I know I've used Celesteela like at least, this is like probably the 4th time I've drafted Celesteela. The first 3 times or 2 times, I don't feel like I brought out the best in Celesteela, but I feel like it was mainly because of the team I built around Celesteela. It didn't really let it shine a lot, but Celesteela in itself has just a lot going for it. Now, in and of itself, it's not the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to being a Z-Mon, but just letting you guys know, Celesteela is my Z captain, and it's my only Z-Mon, and you'll see why with the rest of my team. But can't pass up Steel Flying typing, amazing stats across the board. The base 61 speed can be mitigated with like Autotomize, but just it being a defensive powerhouse is just such a good building block for any good draft team. And considering that my style is bulky offense, Celesteela fits that mold for me so well. So I figured it would be the best interest to just pick up Celesteela round 1 and just go from there. And then you'll see with the rest of my team how I built pretty much not really around Celesteela, as pretty much anything on my team can thrive on this team. So you'll see now with my round 2 pick, I want something that can complement my Celesteela, also compounding for its fire and the electric weakness. So I started off with the dragon type, and the first dragon type that came to my mind was the Hydreigon. So those 2 Pokemon by itself should pretty much tell you whose team it's starting to shape up to be like. But you guys should know I do have Hydreigon in the IBL, but this is the first time I'm actually drafting Hydreigon for myself. I just wanted to have some fire and electric check, and at the very least have some form of momentum with U-turn, and it has some very solid stats across the board. And Dark Dragon typing is just very unique in and of itself. The fairy weakness is covered by Celesteela. The ice weakness can be mitigated a bit by Celesteela, although Celesteela is still hit neutrally. I'm not going to go too much into detail about stuff that's already been spouted elsewhere, but you know pretty much what Hydreigon can do for most teams. And the most part is it can go physical and or special. I think the best thing about Hydreigon is the fact that it can go physical or special, sort of like Komao, but Hydreigon more so in the fact that while it doesn't get anything in terms of a boosting standpoint, it can be more so of a wall breaker or a choice scarfer, specs user, whatever you want your team, whatever you want Hydreigon to do for your team, it can do well. So now moving on from there, I needed something to complement Hydreigon and Celesteela. So round 3, we ended up going with the Mega Venusaur. Now I did contemplate a few other things before like committing to Mega Venusaur, because I figured I would try to save Mega Venusaur for later in the draft, but Mega Venusaur plus Celesteela, I've used these two Pokemon before in the ICBA, and they cause so much trouble for building just because of the fact that they complement each other's weaknesses so nicely. The only thing I really had to worry about Mega Venusaur being the weakness to Psychic and Flying. Hydreigon deals with the Psychic types, same thing with Celesteela. Celesteela also resists Flying, and then Mega Venusaur resists Electric for Celesteela. So it pretty much comes full circle in my estimation, but thick fat, very good ability for a defensive mon like Mega Venusaur. It can also have the stats to be run offensively. So not much else to say about Mega Venusaur. Some might say it's a stretch for round 3, but Mega Venusaur is just a very good, solid, bulky mon to utilize, especially when you're pairing it up with Celesteela and then having something like Hydreigon in the back to provide some sort of wall breaking capabilities. So with that out of the way, moving on to my round 4 pick, and my round 4 pick is a returnee from my season 5 team, and that Pokemon is the Arcanine. So I also have Arcanine in the I had Arcanine in the MPL minors, did some stuff, did some decent work for me while I had it, but Arcanine in and of itself gives me the ice resist that I needed for my Celesteela, a fire check as it gets Flash Fire, an Intimidate user, can be run offensively, defensively, gets access to Morning Sun, priority with extreme speed. It's just so good. It's so versatile and very functional. Very good two-dimensional mon that doesn't get a lot of credit, mainly because other fire types do come to mind, stuff like Infernape for starters. And then there's also the Megas like Megazord X and whatnot. But Arcanine in itself just saves you a lot of trouble, especially considering that Intimidate and Flash Fire is just two very good abilities to have for a Pokemon of Arcanine's caliber, especially considering that it's not out of the realm of possibilities to run like a Choice Bandit set, or it's not just stuck to be like a defensive mon all the time. So that is the Arcanine. So moving on now to round number 5. So my round 5 pick, I ended up going to trying to complete the Dragon Fairy Steel Core before all the good fairy types are gone. So snagged a Gardevoir. So with these 5 picks, you've pretty much assumed that, yeah, my team is like emulating Jolt's team from the GBA Season 8. But I attest to you guys, this is the last mon from that team that made it onto my team. Like, this was the main gimmick throughout the draft. Everyone had their own little mons that they wanted to pick up early or make lower tier mons shine. My strategy was pretty much emulate the draft and add my own spin to the draft, and I feel like I've done that. Well, I will show you what I've done with the draft afterwards, but after all the fuss that, not really fuss, but after all the hype that Jolt was giving Gardevoir during the GBA, I figured I'd try it out for myself, break out of the habit of using, I've only really used 2 main fairy types well, the first one being Clefable, and the second one being Primarina, trying to break out of the realm, break those shackles and use a different fairy type. Figured I'd try Gardevoir for once. I figured Psychic Fairy typing, it still has some pretty good bulk when, despite not being Mega. And at the same time, Trace is a very solid ability to have for Gardevoir, as it can trace some key abilities like Regenerator for defensive purposes, sheer force for offensive purposes, adaptability, the list goes on and on. So I'm really eager to give Gardevoir a try, especially the last time I used Gardevoir was when it was Mega Gardevoir, and that was a while back. So that is Gardevoir in a nutshell. It's not that fast, but it can pull off choice specs and choice scarf sets pretty effectively. I might try some other stuff out as the season progresses, but that is my round 5 pick in Gardevoir. Now for round 6, my last 4 Mons are not from Jolt's GBA team, I promise. So the first thing I needed after these 5 Mons, first thing I needed a Stealth Rocker. I had no Stealth Rocker whatsoever on this team, and I wanted a bulky ground type. And the only thing left that fit both those criteria at that point was Swampert. So getting up Swampert here was kind of like, well, it wasn't really like I had to get Swampert here. Nidoqueen, I could have got Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen was still available, but the problem with that was I didn't want to double up on typings just yet. At the same time, Nidoqueen did cost more than Swampert, and at the very least, Swampert was a low budget Stealth Rocker that can also roar. It can also Earthquake, Ice Punch, the whole 9 yards and everything. It actually would have been funny because while I did contemplate Seismitoad actually went like 4 picks before Swampert did, so that was actually going to be pretty funny if Seismitoad ended up with me, and then but that's a different story. But anyway, Swampert gave me the Stealth Rocker I needed on my team. I needed some form of stability with Electric, being an Electric check and all that stuff. So pretty much Swampert does give me that and then some for my draft. So that is Swampert. Now for the last 3 picks, it's totally not Jolt related. This is my own spin to my team. So first thing I needed for the draft was speed. As you can tell, my first 6 Pokemon, none of them are base 100 speed or higher. This team is hella slow, and I wanted to mitigate that. So figured going into round 7, needed to get some speed on my team, need to get some priority. So with that, my round 7 pick ended up being Lycanroc Dusk. So while it's kind of a toss-up here because in my opinion at least, I don't feel that Lycanroc Dusk should be 13 points. I feel like it could be more like 11. That's my own personal opinion. I'm not complaining about Lycanroc Dusk whatsoever, but Lycanroc Dusk gives me that fast Pokemon, a base 110 speed, gives me priority with Accelerock to go with Arcanine, and I just needed some way of revenge killing more offensive teams or more frailer Mons that can give my team trouble. So that's pretty much Lycanroc Dusk in a nutshell. Just having that fast Mon to complement my bulk, and at the same time being a potential Sword Stance sweeper if I want to go that option. And it's always nice to have Tough Claws, great ability, and all that stuff. So that is Lycanroc Dusk. Then moving on to the last 2 Mons on my draft to continue going with the speed option. My round 8 pick ended up being the Raikou. Giving me base 115 speed, a fast electric type, gives me some options like Calm Mind, Assault Vest, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs. Now, to be perfectly honest, I'm not really like that keen of like fast electric types. Like Raikou is one of those few fast electric types I'll actually use. I do find it a little bit more comfortable to use as opposed to something like Mega Manectric. I just don't like Mega Manectric, that's my own personal opinion, but that's a different story. Raikou is a different story altogether. I can do... It's a pretty fast electric type Pokemon that doesn't hinder you with a Mega Slot. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. It also gets access to Calm Mind, so if I run a Calm Mind set, I can go that option. It's bulky enough to check other special attackers if I need to, like Assault Vest. It could be a good revenge killer with a Choice Scarf set, Choice Specs that make it a good wall breaker. the whole 9 yards, so can't really complain about my Raikou. And now, moving on to the last pick, as you can tell by my point value, I only have 13 points left to work with, and I figured my last pick had to be a Stealth Rocker, because right now my only consistent Stealth Rocker is Swampert. I want to avoid running rocks on my Lycanroc Dusk if at all possible. So I figured I also want to get something with momentum too. So with my last pick, I ended up getting Cobalion. Now, I haven't drafted Cobalion in quite a while, actually. Last time I even had Cobalion on my team was way back in my very first league, but Cobalion pretty much is the same as back then, with the exception of like Z-moves and whatnot. But Cobalion gives me another Stealth Rocker, it gives me another Rock Resist, so ease the burden off of my Swampert. It also gets access to Taunt, Volt Switch. Dual Stab is pretty cool. I know I have 2 Steel types now, but they serve different purposes in my opinion for the rest of my team. Now my team as a whole, as you see, this is my entire draft. I do have 1 point left, but I decided to hold on to that 1 point just in case I make any changes to this draft. So other than that, I do like my team. There are some flaws, obviously, as all other teams do. If you notice, the last 3 picks from my team to go along with Arcanine, they're all weak to ground, and my only way of dealing with ground types is Hydreigon and Celesteela. And of course I have bulky stuff to take ground attacks, Mega Venusaur and Swampert, but that's not really... Swampert can get worn down easily, and it would force Mega Venusaur to click Senses more often, but overall, I do like the overall functionality of the team. The only other problem may be the fact that I only have one way of getting rid of hazards, and that's Defog Hydreigon. But other than that, outside of my Arcanine, everything else is now weak to rocks, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Hazard removal can be a bit overrated, especially considering if you do draft a team that has a lot of Pokemon with a Stealth Rock, you can fall into that sense of security where you're forced to bring hazard removal all the time, so I don't really feel the need to do it with this particular team unless I have to deal with like Spike Stack. Then I'll consider that option on my Hydreigon, but then again, I'm not really too worried about it. But anyway, that is going to be my draft analysis, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy the video nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoy my team. If you do, leave a like, subscribe to all the coaches in the MPL. Week 1 will be going up next Friday, a week after the draft analysis have been uploaded to YouTube, which is going up today. Basically, I'm recording this the same day as this video is supposed to go up, so yeah. That's gonna be it from me, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy nonetheless. Like I said, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And that's going to be it from me, guys, until week 1 comes around next Friday when we take on Frieslander and the Rotterdam Staraptors. This is Tone, signing off for now. Peace out.